All right, on this episode of Bouts Talking Bouts, we have a big fight going at BTC 8 Eliminator. It is happening on November the 30th. We've got that BTC Super Lightweight Championship on the line. Jarel Askew taking on Scott Hudson, with Scott Hudson being the defending champion, and I have him on the show. How's it going there, man?
Awesome, Dylan. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing great for sure, man. And I remember from the last time we spoke, like at least in terms of like doing the video interview kind of stuff, you were saying you were getting married in August there. So how did that all go about?
And it went really well. We got married in August, and yeah, it was fantastic. You're a married man now.
Yeah, glad to hear that. I just remember asking you if you wanted to get on all the BTC cards, and you kind of had to prioritize that over getting out there in the cage, which is very fair.
Yeah, I had a good reason to bow out of the one event, the lone BTC event I haven't been on.
Yeah, that's what I was seeing too, because like all BTC cards up until the sixth one, you were on there, and the last time you went in the cage, you got that third guillotine choke in the Pickney fight. You got the hat trick there, so it seems to be the maneuver there.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure, man. And this is going to be great tilt here. You taking on Jarel Askew and everything like that. He's a pretty interesting fighter. I mean, just like based on the experience he has on like the Alaska FC circuit, it seems like he has like a commensurate amount of fights to it's like what you have in terms of like amount of times getting out there. What's your assessment of his skill set and him as an opponent?
He's a quality opponent. We're looking, hopefully to get a fight with somebody, similar to him, where he's got the experience. He's got, relatively the same record as me. He's got one more win than I do. Some okay quality fights on his record as well. He comes from a strong camp, so we're looking for, something that's going to be challenging, and he's got a lot of, physical attributes that pose problems for me that I'm looking forward to kind of, testing myself.
Absolutely, and I'm wondering where you're training at for this one. I think I saw a picture of you with Aaron Jeffrey and Adam Asenza at Burlington Training Center there. Whereabouts are you training most regularly ahead of this fight, though?
Parabellum, always like with the pro team there.
And a lot of people, preparing for that card as well. I imagine the morale in the gym is, pretty crazy right now. Like everybody vying for similar goal, same date and everything.
Yeah, it's really like something special when everybody has fights, or everybody's gearing up for fights around the same time. Let alone, I think there's like 7 of us on this card specifically. So it's always really exciting. The intensity in the gym is really high, and the compete level from all my training partners is really high because everybody's kind of got the same goal as me. So everybody's giving me tough rounds. Everybody's giving me really good looks, and that everybody's going to be well prepared. I know I'm going to be well prepared, and it's just good. Like it can be difficult sometimes when there's people are not coming around as much as you'd like, and it can be difficult sort of getting training partners together. I mean, it's not. I don't usually have that problem, but it can be dicey sometimes. Like in the summer, if you're the only one fighting, or around like the Christmas holidays, if you're the only one fighting, because the herd kind of thins out those times of year.
Yeah, so I imagine like the sparring partners that you regularly work with are there on a pretty regular basis. And to that point, who are like the regular guys you're getting in that like sparring sort of work with and everything?
The majority of my rounds are with Kyron Cameron, who's the pro welterweight on the card for BGC, Aaron Jeffrey, Bobby Poulter, who's making his pro debut on this card, really talented amateur. Pat Connors, I've been trying to get as much work as I can with him because he's, one of the only guys around that's actually taller than me, and Jarrell's, I think, an inch taller than me, so I'm not used to kind of giving up a lot of that reach against a lot of my opponents, so he's been pretty valuable as well. Like, really long, lanky fighter, just like Jarrell. Obviously, Siri City, my boy, and everybody else just having in the room, like having Josh Hill in the room, having Lindsey Garber in the room, even though we're not doing all of our rounds together, it's just you need that kind of leadership in the room and that type of experience and energy.
Yeah, and it seems like an interesting time for Canadian MMA, specifically like Ontario centric too. Like you mentioned Josh Hill, I noticed he got signed by Bellator a little while ago there for a multi-fight deal. And also you mentioned Aaron Jeffrey getting that shot on Contender Series, and there's some cool stuff like that. So I mean, how interesting is that? And like, especially from your perspective, to see there being like, from what I can tell at least, like a bit more of a focus on, you know, the Canadian MMA sphere as of late.
Yeah, well, they try to, like, I mean, for me, Josh not fighting in the UFC is crazy. Like, I'm glad that he found a home in Bellator where he belongs and he can actually get fights against guys that can test him, because realistically, if he's not fighting on either UFC or Bellator, there is nobody that's really going to give him a run. You know what I mean? There's not. There's just not. Aaron Jeffrey obviously has a lot going for him, and I think that it's just a matter of time before he's back in the UFC, regardless of, like, the Contender Series result. And I think that I'm hopefully one fight away from being there myself. Like, I don't plan on, you know, having a much longer career with BTC Fight Promotions. Like, I want to get this win, I want to get this finish, and then go straight to the show.
Yeah, for sure. And the point about Aaron was correct. I more so mentioned it through the lens of like they're, you know, seeing people do some cool things on the Canadian circuit, and it's like, oh, let's have this Aaron Jeffrey guy fight on Contender Series. I more so meant it like that. But yeah, I mean, you're very close to that point for sure, like getting to something like that. But I'm kind of wondering, like, if the mentality is at all different in this fight. I mean, like, you won the super lightweight championship last time out. Is the mentality at all different when you're defending the belt, or is it just like a fight's a fight? You have the same considerations each time out.
To be honest with you, I don't really put too much stock into being the champion. Like, it just, not that that's like, you know, disrespect towards the accomplishment or anything, but it's just another fight. Like, I expect my career progression to get, you know, more difficult, and, you know, get a little bit harder fights, a little bit harder fights. And I want that level of competition to keep going up. So as far as I'm concerned, like, every fight's a championship fight from now on.
Yeah, that's the way to look at it for sure. But the last time I saw you was briefly at that PFC event there in London, and they've been doing a great job. And obviously, BTC has been really doing a great job for the Ontario scene, which was pretty inactive even just a few years ago and was largely sort of dormant. On a more localized level, like, how cool is it to see the progression that Ontario MMA has made in like a relatively short period of time?
Yeah, it's really, really good that, you know, there's companies out there that want to put on these good shows, and, you know, a little bit of competition is good for everybody, I think. It gives all the fighters a platform to, you know, show their skills on, and, you know, develop their careers a little bit better, as opposed to having to travel all the time and, you know, take riskier fights and be a little bit, you know, less selective. But I think it has a lot to do with the ease up by the Ontario Athletic Commission. Like, they're making things a lot more easier. It seems like it's open business now. There's way more MMA events as a whole. There is way more boxing events as a whole, and it just, with you know, with having new leadership there, and having smart people behind, you know, the promotions on some of these fights, it makes a lot more sense, because there was some dark days where it was just, the system wasn't set up to support promotions and support companies who wanted to grow the sport and, you know, run a successful business.
Yeah, there was a lot of regulatory loopholes and stuff like that that got in the way, but glad that's not happening anymore. And it seems like everybody's benefiting from that, you know. But I mean, this is kind of a cool card being in like the Niagara Falls sort of area too. Are you kind of looking forward to like that aspect, like getting to go out and maybe do some of the touristy stuff in the Niagara Falls area, or are you not so much focused on the location of the fight?
I think it's great that it's Niagara Falls. I know that, like, Niagara Falls, we have a lot of guys on our team who travel from Niagara on a regular basis to come train with us. So they are going to have the chance to, you know, fight at home for the first time. I know that the fans, sports fans, and the fight fans from that region are really good, and they're going to have a lot of support there that I can also feed off of. And obviously, like, being in a place like Niagara Falls is just it's a fun place. Like, you know what I mean? It's a fun place to have fights. It's a fun place to do stuff. I know a lot of the people who are coming out to check my fight out are also going to make a weekend of it and go to the casino and, you know, do all the cool stuff that spot has to offer.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And when we did that post fight interview after the BTC six fight, there you described yourself as being happy as a pig in shit. Do you think that's going to be like the mood you're looking for after this one? Like, is that sort of the goal, the feeling you're striving for there with that one?
Of course, I want to be happy as a pig and shit after a fight. I mean, honestly, like I've had fights where um, I've won the fight and still not been like completely satisfied with my performance and not really been in a celebratory mood. But I think I think that yeah, I want to go out there. I want to put on a good fight for the fans in Niagara. I want to get that finish. I want to, you know, show the promotion and show all the fans and everybody who's paying attention what I'm capable of and sort of the next level of this sport. I feel like I'm in the upper echelon of, you know, Canadian talent MMA wise, and this is my chance to show it. You know what I mean? Like that's all I ever wanted, was a chance to prove my worth. And every time I fight, I get a chance to do so, and I'm always getting hyped up for that.
Absolutely. And to that point, would UFC be kind of like the idealized end goal? Do you have any desire to maybe fight for like some of the Asian promotions, like one championship or anything like that? Or is it pretty centric to like a certain promotion that you would like to go to? And it's kind of like blinders on towards like either like UFC or maybe like even a Bellator sort of thing?
I mean, yeah, like I think that UFC is the main goal. Just it's the number one promotion. It's where everybody wants to be. You can make the most. You can make the most money. You can get the best exposure. One championship's really cool, and that would be really cool to fight for them as well. I actually used to live in Asia, so I've been closely watching like the activity that happens with all those fighters, all those events out there for years now. And but I think that I can't lie to myself. Like I know that I want to fight at UFC before all others.
Yeah, for sure. I get what you're saying on that end. But usually when I have fighters on the show, I usually ask like if they're like partial to certain like genres of music when they're training. Or I also know though some fighters kind of just like to train in like relative silence, kind of want to replicate the conditions of fight night more so. Where are you at on that end of things?
I prefer to listen to stuff that kind of gets me hyped up to train and make me, gets me feeling good. So I'll try to, put on some like old school hip hop when I'm training. At practice, I don't really get a choice, so I'm just kind of forced to listen to whatever I'm forced to listen to. It depends what coach is picking the music, but I know Lyndon Whitlock, he intentionally puts on like very heavy metal on sparring days, and I think it's just because he wants to make everybody as uncomfortable as possible. Because it's not my favorite type of music, but he does it on purpose. It's funny too. Like I always bust his balls about it because I don't listen to that music, but just being around him so much, I know all the words to all those songs, like all these Slipknot songs and shit that I wouldn't normally listen to. I know the music very well just from spending time around him. I'm not proud of it.
Yeah, that's kind of fun. I like that. I mean, I guess you're begrudgingly kind of enjoying the experience, but yeah, but I mean, you've been great with your time, man. I'm curious if there's anything you'd like to sort of add as a parting thought as we're kind of wrapping things up here, though.
The only thing I want to add is make sure that you come out and you enjoy the fight. Make sure you come out and make a good night out of it. Everybody's in really good shape. Everybody's really prepared to put on an amazing night of fights. You can go to btcfight.ca to purchase your tickets. Enter promo code Hudson at the checkout. You can catch me at Instagram at Handsome Scott Hudson. You can catch me on Facebook at Handsome Scott Hudson, and you can visit my website at handsomescotthudson.com.
He is Handsome Scott Hudson, and this is a beautiful fight here. It goes at BTC 8 on November the 30th. The Super Lightweight Championship up for grabs with Jarel Askew as the challenger. Really appreciate you coming on the show and everything, man. Appreciate all the insights, and best of luck with the rest of your preparations, and also have a good rest of your night, too.
Anytime, Dylan.